Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mark, your resident tech enthusiast, always excited to dive into the latest and greatest.
And I'm Jenny, here to explore how all this tech actually impacts our lives, beyond the specs and the hype.
Exactly. And today, we're tackling something I've been times to discuss, the Apple Vision Pro, 1 year later. It's been a full year since this thing dropped, and, oh man, the conversations around it have been a roller coaster, to say the least.
A roller coaster is right. I've seen everything from "this is the future" to "most expensive paperweight ever." So let's unpack this. Where do we even begin with something this divisive?
I think we have to start with the display. Because here's the thing about the Vision Pro. The visual experience is unlike anything else. We're talking dual 4K OLED displays. 23 times million times pixels being beamed into your eyes. It's kind of like having your own personal IMAX theater strapped to your face.
Okay, that sounds impressive, I'll give you that. But strapped to your face is doing some heavy times lifting there, isn't it? Because I've also heard, let's just say, times comfort times hasn't been its strong suit.
You've hit the nail on the head, Jenny. That's the paradox. This stunning visual fidelity comes at a cost. And I'm not just talking about the price tag, although, yikes, that's a whole other conversation. I'm talking about physical comfort. A lot of early adopters reported discomfort, especially with extended use.
Right, like reports of neck strain, headaches. It's hard to enjoy your personal IMAX if it feels like you're wearing a bowling ball on your head,
Precisely. And that's where the initial excitement starts to wane. There are reports that after that initial honeymoon period, usage drops off significantly. People just aren't wearing it for hours on end like they might with, say, their iPad. Or even their VR headsets, which have had more time to solve the ergonomic issues.
So it's this incredible visual experience, but unsustainable? That's a tough sell.
It is. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. Because when it works when you're in that sweet spot, the immersion is incredible. People talk about watching movies, viewing their photos. It's a genuinely new way to experience media.
Okay, I can see that. Like viewing your own panoramic photos? Or feeling like you're actually times at a concert? That's pretty compelling.
It is. And the spatial audio adds another layer to that. It's not just about the visuals. It's about the asterisk feeling of being there.
And I have to ask this. What about the asterisk software? Because all this amazing hardware is useless without apps and experiences to actually use times it, right?
You're absolutely right. And that's where we see another major point of contention, the software ecosystem. It's growing, but it hasn't exactly kept pace with the hardware's capabilities.
So it's like having this super-powered engine, but not enough roads to drive it on?
That's a great analogy. There's a sense that the software is still catching up. A lot of users are finding that the apps they want time to use, the experiences they're craving, they're just not quite there yet.
And what about integrating it into your everyday workflow? I mean, is anyone actually working in Vision Pro? Or is it mostly just for entertainment?
That's another big challenge. Workflow integration is tricky. It's not as seamless as, say, switching between your laptop and your phone. The spatial computing interface, while innovative, has a learning curve. It requires a different way of thinking about interacting with your digital environment.
So it's not something you can just pick up and immediately be productive with?
Not really. And that's a barrier for some people. It's not just about learning new gestures. It's about adapting your entire workflow to this new paradigm.
And I've got to bring up the social aspect too. I've seen some discussions online about the isolation factor, like you're in this amazing virtual world, but you're also completely cut off from the people around you.
That's a very valid point, Jenny. And there's even some data to back that up. Some reports indicate that a significant percentage of users experience some level of social friction or isolation when using the Vision Pro. It's something to consider, especially as we think about the long-term implications of this kind of technology.
It's almost like the technology is asterisked 2 times immersive in a way?
It's a double-edged sword, for sure. But, looking ahead, I think there's still a lot of potential here. Apple is constantly updating the operating system, Vision OS, and future iterations could address some of these issues.
So, what are some of the key things you'd like to see in future updates?
Definitely improved ergonomics, that's number one, but also a more robust software ecosystem, better workflow integration, and maybe even some features that address the social isolation aspect, like shared experiences, better ways to interact with the real world while wearing the device. things like that.
So it's not a game over for the Vision Pro, but more of a to be continued?
Exactly. It's a first-generation product, and there are bound to be growing pains. But the underlying technology is so impressive, and the potential is so vast. I'm still excited to see where it goes from here.
Well said. Thanks for breaking all of this down for us, Mark.
Anytime, Jenny. This stuff is what I live for. Until next time.